One characteristic became apparent as a major predictor of success, and it wasn't communication. Skill, it wasn't emotional intelligence. Good looks or physical health, it wasn't even IQ, it was grit to be successful at anything. The truth is, you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't: consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts, integrity, purpose, determination, and discipline that it takes to be a champion in life. Grit is about persistence, resilience, and determination. It's about showing up day after day. It's about holding on to your dreams even when the road ahead looks dark and uncertain. Grit is passion and perseverance. Grit is having scam. Grit is sticking with your future day in, day out, not just for the week but for years. It's the most important attribute. It's more important than intelligence. It's more important than domain expertise. That ability to grind through even when you don't see immediate results, even when it looks like you're going backwards. That ability to stay gritty and grind, that's the difference between winners and losers. You practice piano, practice math, you practice cooking, practice some grit. Grit is work. Grit is a challenge of a lifetime. Grit is something that many people don't even know how to get through it. It's about winning one-on-one battles. Fight your fight, it's our fight. To fight 1 in 6 doesn't define who you are. What defined who you are is what you do when you 1 in 6. If everything you got today, fight. So first things you're going to find about being gritty is that it really has to be something that you're excited about, that's worthwhile to you for whatever reason, to push through, to suffer through the boredom, the difficulties, and all of that. And I think that's the most underlooked part of grit, is that it needs to be something that you're compelled by. It's got to be like cool and exciting and interesting too. We often hear stories of people who succeed seamless without effort, those who make it look easy, but what we don't see is the grit behind their success, the countless hours they spent practicing, failing, trying again, the times they wanted to quit but didn't. We don't see the struggle they faced or the sacrifices they made, and yet through it all they held on. I'm telling you from experience, Yence. I got a G. I lived in abandoned buildings. Out of trash can I got a PhD now, and that ain't no, that ain't on IQ, that's all, that's on GQ. Grit, that's all grit. PhD is all grit. Master's degree, all grit. Took me 12 years to get a 40 degree, that's all grit. So I can't teach you how to be elite, but I can teach you how to go in there. I'm talking about grit. I can teach you how to go in there and murder some other team, not with talent, just outdoing. So I'm talking about endurance, just having more stamina than they got. Let me tell you something about grit. Let me tell you about what it really means. Grit is when you're hurting so bad. Grit is when you're hurting so bad, but you know you got a job to do. Grit is something that pushes you in a total different direction. Now, I'm not talking about those naysayers. I'm not talking about those individuals that cry and moan and groan because they're not getting what they want right now. How do you get through something? You gotta keep climbing. It's going to hurt. It's supposed to hurt. If it doesn't hurt, how? You're growing. The greatest minds, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the most accomplished individuals didn't get to where they are without failure. They didn't get to where they are without learning, adjusting, and keeping at it when things got tough. You see, grit requires a shift in how we perceive challenges. We must begin to see difficulties not as threats but as opportunities. Talk about grit, right? That ability to grind and stick with something even when you're not seeing progression, even when you don't see results being made. So it's a really important attribute, right? Don't look for any gains where there's been no sacrifice. Don't wake up and look for no game. Don't look for your game to improve. Don't look for the record to improve without sacrifice. There are no gains. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. It is easy to quit when success seems so far to reach, but if we embrace grit, we shift from being passive observers of our circumstances to achieve creators of our own futures. You think this is tough, so the fact that he's writing you, the fact that the coaching staff is writing you and saying, no shortcuts, do it the right way, do it. Overdo it, overdo it, overdo it, over. Why? Because in practice you get to do it. Over in the game you don't. They write that stuff down. It's recorded. Everything we do takes time, takes courage, takes understanding, takes the will, it takes a reason, it takes knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, climb and you slip up, get up when you feel like you want to quit. Don't quit. Know that you have to do these things. Know that you have a responsibility to yourself, to the people that depend on you and love you. Climb, climb, climb up. Consider the story of Michael Jordan. Jordan didn't make his high school varsity team on his first try. He was cut from the team till he wasn't good enough. Many would have given up, but Jordan didn't. Instead, he chatted his disappointment into relentless drive to improve. His failures became his motivation, and the result: 6 NBA championships, 5 MVP awards, and a legacy that inspires athletes worldwide. But grit isn't conformed to the world of sports. It's present in every field, from business to education, from science to the arts. Take J.K. Rowling, for example. Before writing the book Harry Potter series, Rowling faced numerous rejections from publishers. She was living on welfare, struggling as a single mother, but she refused to give up on her story. Today, the Harry Potter book have sold over 500 million copies and has been translated into 80 languages. Her success, not just a tale of talent, but a story of grit, the courage to preserve despite overwhelming odds. So why am I passionate? 'Cause I got a chance to control my own life. You have a chance to control your destiny. That, my friend, is the American dream. Not a Cadillac, not a big house. The American dream is all men are created equal. Grit is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's the strength to keep going, no matter what. So when you face obstacles in your life, in your own journey, remember that the greatest success stories aren't built on talent alone. They're built on grit, the ability to preserve, the courage to rise, and the unshakable belief that no matter what, you will reach your goal with grit.